Hello and welcome back to The Vegan Runner. Today we're going to be looking at the Reebok Forever Floatride GROW. Is it a step in the right direction, or will it end up on the compost heap?
Slam dunk, are you ready to make me? I'm it and I'm riding the fast lane. Don't let me down, I'm on fire. Does anyone else feel like a liar? It's all in your head and your mind. You just have to use it.
Thank you for joining us today. If you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe button below. It really does help. Before we go on, I'd just like to say this is a shoe that I bought with my own money. Nobody's paying me to make this review. Nobody sent the shoe to me. These are my honest thoughts and opinions. Right, let's take a look at this brand new shoe from Reebok. Now I know what you're thinking. Reebok? Running shoe? Are you sure? I think the last time I wore Reebok was in the 90s as a teenager. It's not a brand that's on my radar usually for running shoes, but when I found out that they were made from plants, I was intrigued, and I'm really interested to find out whether this is the new direction, hopefully, that shoe companies will go in. The upper is made from eucalyptus bark, the midsole from castor beans, the outsole from natural rubber, and the insole from bloom algae. So far I've put about 20 miles in these shoes, so this is just my first impressions. I'll do a full review and an update after I put between 50 and 100 miles on them and see how they've lasted. So this video really is just my first thoughts and first impressions of this shoe. In my size, which is a UK men's size 7, it weighs 249 grams, which for an everyday trainer, it's a really fantastic weight. At this weight, it feels great on your feet when you're doing hard efforts, interval training, hill reps, you know I like those. The heel drop in this shoe is 9mm. That means that the heel is 9mm higher than the forefoot, which is fairly typical for an everyday trainer. It's certainly in the kind of ideal range that I like to see in an everyday shoe. And that has meant I've just been able to slip them on, and I've not had to adjust to a different stack height or a slightly different style of running. The knitted upper is made from eucalyptus bark, which is an interesting material to start making a woven fabric from. I was kind of hoping it would smell like eucalyptus too, but it really doesn't. Reebok are claiming that it's a breathable upper, and I'd have to agree with them there. I've been wearing them on fairly cool nights so far, and although they kept my feet cool, I didn't feel like they were too cold or too breathable. They just felt just about right for me. The tongue is quite plush. It's fairly comfortable. There's not a huge amount of padding in there, but it feels comfortable. It's not a gusseted tongue, which means that it's not woven into the eyelets, so it's kind of like a loose bit of material that's dangling or just only connected here, which I prefer to see a gusseted tongue on most shoes. They tend to be a bit more comfortable, but I haven't had any issues with any kind of like slipping or sliding of the tongue whilst I've been wearing the shoes so far. Onto the eyelets, there's nothing really remarkable to say about the eyelets that hold the laces. They look pretty strong. They're kind of stitched in here. I think they'll last the course, but nothing special, no new technology as far as I'm aware in the eyelets. Which brings me nicely on to the laces, which I think will be my only gripe with this shoe. The lacing is ridiculously long. I don't know whether it's just my size or whether it's just the way that I'm lacing up, but I don't know if you can see, but to me, they're really long laces. By the time I've done them up, I seem to have an absolute huge excess of lace to tuck away somewhere. And unlike some shoes where you can tuck the lace into the tongue, into a little pocket on the tongue, there's nowhere to tuck these excessive laces. However, the laces are comfortable. They're kind of flat, and they sit flat on the top of your foot. They haven't caused me any discomfort, and I was able to find a decent lockdown quite quickly. My only other gripe with this shoe, and it's a small one, but at the moment it only comes in one colourway, which I think is a decent colourway. It's like kind of like this off-white, organic kind of material. I can see why they've gone for that, but as you can see, after just a few miles outside here in Dartmoor, they're already pretty covered in mud, and they're going to go a kind of grey browny colour quite soon, I should think. They're definitely not a shoe that are going to stay fresh and clean and looking new for very long, especially if you're wearing them on winter roads. The collar for me has just about the right level of padding. It's not too plush. Again, that's probably saving some weight there, how they're able to keep it so light, but it's just right. Not too much, not too little. You can definitely feel something here, and putting the shoe on it, it feels comfortable around the heel. Moving on to the heel counter, as you can see, it's fairly stiff. There's a little bit of flexibility in the sides, but it's pretty hard to push the heel counter down. That provides good support for the heel and the ankle, but without being too rigid. Now for the insole. I don't know if you can quite see it there, I'll try and get it out for you. Here we go. They're calling it their ReGrow insole. It's made from an algal bloom. To be honest with you, it feels like just any normal kind of EVA foam insole. It's been fine, it's been nice and comfortable, I haven't noticed it. The only thing I did notice was when I put the shoes on, the insole was kind of sticking up a bit. It was like almost like they weren't fitted properly. So I was a little bit apprehensive at first to get my feet in these, because I thought possibly that the insole wasn't quite the right size for the shoe. But after about 10 minutes of wearing them, they settled down and bedded into the shoe, and they've been absolutely fine. Okay, and now onto the midsole, which Reebok are calling their Floatride Energy Foam, and it's made from castor bean oil. Now, this is the part of the shoe that I first noticed really when I put them on, and got me quite excited. The foam's not too soft, it's not too firm. It feels great actually, it's very flexible, and I kind of felt that it was pushing me up onto my mid or my forefoot here as I was running, and I was getting a lot of ground feel through it too, which is a good thing. It's a neutral shoe, so for people who run with a neutral gait, and as you can tell, it's fairly flexible. It's not too rigid. In fact, I think that's quite a good level of flexibility for a neutral shoe. Overall, I think the midsole is great. Top beans. Moving on to the outsole of the shoe, which is made from natural rubber. It's a fairly classic look. It's been providing pretty decent grip on some wet Dartmoor roads out here. After 20 miles, I wouldn't expect to see any signs of wear, and I can't see any on here at the moment. I like the way that they've managed to save some weight in the shoe by exposing the midsole foam through some little gaps all along the outsole, which has obviously helped to keep the overall weight of the shoe down, which is a fantastic thing. So my general first impressions of the shoe, I'm really enjoying wearing them. I've been wearing them for pretty fast, quite intense interval efforts at the moment, but I could easily see them being a good everyday trainer, capable of doing some fast work as well as a good recovery shoe. I would feel quite happy racing a 5k in these. I think they're light enough and they feel quick and responsive enough to be a good race shoe. And I think you would get away quite easily as well with wearing these for a half marathon. I don't think they'd be quite comfortable enough or supportive enough for a full marathon, but for a half marathon or a 10k, I think they'd be a great shoe. I love the fact that they're made from plant-based materials. Now there is a little caveat to that. I mean, they are made from plant-based materials and it is a step in the right direction, that's great. But if you look on the Reebok's website, you'll notice that it's USDA certified bio-based, and then there's a little number underneath, 59%, which I think means that this shoe is 59% plant-based, which is fantastic. I know that there are plenty of shoes out there that aren't plant-based at all and often end up in landfill and create a big problem. So it's good to know that when this shoe reaches the end of its life, it's not going to create as much of a problem. I kind of, from all the marketing though, on reading on the website, I kind of wanted it to be 100% plant-based, like us. But it definitely is a step in the right direction. And I hope that other shoe manufacturers start to think along the same lines and come up with their own sustainable footwear. If you're looking for a light, comfortable, mostly plant-based everyday trainer which is capable of doing some fast work as well as recovery work, this is the shoe for you. I'm really enjoying it. But let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of plant-based shoes? Do you think it's a good step forward? Are you interested in wearing them? Have you tried them out already? What has been your experience so far? Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Until the next one, be the best you.